LAPD police officer who publicly appealed to basketball star LeBron James now saying the media completely missed what he was trying to say. That's Deon Joseph. He's saying this, quote, "I'm so disappointed in what my letter to LeBron got turned into. An open letter with the purest intentions got turned into pundits trying to make it seem that a black man is trying to put another black man in his place by adding taglines that completely tainted the message. I just want us to come together as a nation in peace and understanding. I don't have to meet with a celeb. I'm going to keep speaking up for the honorable rule of my profession," end quote. Again, just to pull from that. Joseph wrote to King James, if you will, inviting the Lakers shooting guard to have a real discussion on policing here in America. The law enforcement vet reached out after James hopped on Twitter to voice his frustration over the fatal police-involved shooting of a black teen in Columbus, Ohio. This was last month. Officer Joseph joins us now. He's also the author of this book here, Stepping Across the Line, a Skid Row Cop's Story. Volume 1. Deon Joseph joining us here. Officer, good to see you and welcome to the program. I should note that you don't speak on behalf of the LAPD. You're speaking for yourself here on this program. Having said that, let me catch the viewers up before we start. A refresher. This is the original tweet from LeBron James. This is what was put out. It was taken down. The tweet said, "You're next," with the photo of the officer involved in the Columbus, Ohio shooting. He took it down, claiming it was being used to create more hate. You wrote a letter. In your letter originally, it said James's tweet targeted the Ohio officer. You also called his tweet irresponsible and disturbing and the embodiment of hatred rooted in a lack of understanding of the danger of the situation. It's my understanding you haven't heard back from LeBron. Is that correct? And do you still feel like a talk about policing needs to happen, obviously, across our nation?
Well, I have not heard back, and at this point, I don't expect to hear back. And once again, if he doesn't, I still think he's a great human being. But I do feel, unfortunately, a letter I wrote with the purest of intentions. It really came from the bottom of my heart with the understanding of what it is to be African American in America and to only be shown the negative exception of law enforcement and their dealings with the black community. So I understood where he was coming from. And that's why I did not approach LeBron with hatred in my heart or vitriol, but deep concern, because a lot of decent officers that I work with from all walks of life are getting a lot of hate. They're getting rocks thrown at them. They're getting lasers in their eyes. One of my partners who off duty works with the homeless. He works with the homeless. He helps homeless people. Got a laser in his eye because somebody's watching captions of cop hate and anti-police rhetoric, and he thought it was okay to put a laser in that officer's eye. So my goal was to try to help tamp down this rhetoric by sitting down with LeBron and just trying to humanize each other. I want to hear what he has to say. I want him to hear what I have to say. Let's meet in the middle and see how we both can figure out how to save lives on both sides. That was all I wanted to do. But the taglines, unfortunately, from a lot of outlets, not all, but a lot of outlets really tried to pit us against each other. It's almost like they got off on seeing another black guy go against another black guy because one black guy suits their narrative. And I'm not left or right. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a progressive. I'm right in the middle, because I always feel like from the middle, we can start to develop relationships from a truth-based foundation without a lot of biases and prejudices.
24 years on the force, is that correct?
Yes. 25 years, I'm sorry, 25 years. That's the update.
Let's get them all in there. You've earned it. 25 years there on the force. No doubt, undoubtedly, you would know about policing and more, and understanding situations and the escalation that's involved and the decisions that have to be made just like that in the blink of an eye in those situations. Mm-hmm. And not just that one that we saw in Ohio, but so many others. You know, I thought it was interesting. One of the things that you said is when LeBron put that picture up of that officer, you obviously took it down, but he's got a huge following. There's so many people that grabbed it before he was able to pull it down. And in that tweet that he sent, you said that could be you. That could have been you. You could have been that officer. Elaborate on that.
Well, absolutely. There have been 4 times where I almost had to take somebody's life or use deadly force, which probably would have resorted to taking somebody's life in my 25 years. And it's something I never want to do. It's something every morning when I sit on my front porch before I leave my house that I pray never has to happen. And in one particular instance, I'll never forget, there was a 19-year-old young man. He was African-American, and he was running through a dark street pointing what was a gun to me and to everybody he was chasing. People were terrified. A 70-year-old man was running like he was 16 while this 19-year-old man put what to me in a dark street looked like a gun. And I was about to use my weapon and deploy deadly force against this young man. At the last second, this young man breaks away and goes to our streetlights and stops howling and throws the item away. When I detained him and I found that article, it was a piece of duct tape that he wound together and looked exactly like a handgun. And I can only imagine what LeBron James or any other celebrity, high-profile celebrity in a position of power with millions of followers would have said about me, which would have completely erased all the work I've tried to do to help the African-American community. I've housed 150 homeless. There are Black women in Skid Row who are getting raped all the time. I'm the one who stepped up and said, look, your life is just as important as anyone else. You can come to us. I don't care if you're on the pipe, on parole, a sex worker, or on the stroll. You could come to us and we're going to treat you like anyone else. And I'm going to make sure of it. All that work would have been wasted away just from one tweet of somebody judging me in the heat of a dangerous moment when I had to try to save lives. And that was the disturbing part to me.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you for sharing that story, because that shows the humanitarian side, if you will, of making decisions like that. Obviously, the difficulty of that in policing. Before I go, I notice you're still a Lakers fan, right? I see a bunch of Lakers garb.
I'm never going to stop being a Laker fan. The Lakers have been part of my family since the 1960s. So, hey, one man doesn't make a team.
There you go.
When it was Vlade Divac, I was a Laker fan. So I'm going to be there for the rest of my life. Purple and gold all day.
Well, that's Deon Joseph joining us live, having a very frank conversation, nonpartisan, just having understanding of your words there. And I appreciate you doing so, again, on behalf of yourself and not for the LAPD. Deon, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Be safe.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.